Cincinnati City Council approved an incentive package giving Convergys the green light for a $125 million world headquarters in downtown Cincinnati. The decision has cost Norwood in excess of $500,000 annually in earning tax revenue. Under the enterprise zone agreement entered into with Convergys in 1996, Convergys would get a 50% discount on personal property taxes and in turn would employ approximately 1,000 full-time and 400 part-time workers at the Norwood site. In 2002, a study showed they had only 724 jobs in Norwood. Convergys has since relocated most of its employment from its facility in Norwood to the city of Cincinnati, and some of the space previously leased by Convergys has been leased by Cincinnati Bell. Last year, the Hamilton County Tax Incentive Review Council recommended reducing the discount for Convergys from 50% to 10%. They also recommended Convergys sign a written agreement with the city of Norwood that Convergys would make up the difference in the payroll taxes between the enterprise zone agreement and the combined payroll taxes of Convergys and Cincinnati Bell. The recommendations were sent to the Hamilton County Commissioners last year, but sources indicate the commissioners have not acted upon those recommendations. As of last year, the city of Norwood had 11 active enterprise zone agreements, resulting in a yearly personal property abatement of $181,681. Last month, we reported the $42,000 expense for rubberized playground improvement that was authorized without school board approval.
Each month, Mr. Rabe gives me a copy of the purchase order log, and I did have a question. We had a PO that was issued on May the 11th for playground rubber surfacing, and it was for $42,500, which exceeded the $25,000 that we should be voting on.
Can we hold up? I just want to. I don't really think of that as a board announcement. You know, maybe we really weren't clear on what board announcements are, and maybe that should be brought up under finance. But I thought board announcements were more of kind of what's going on in the community, and I don't know, or maybe a phone call to Mr. Ray would be in order to get those answers. And I think Mr. Ray was going to speak to that, and it wasn't on the agenda, and maybe he forgot to do that. Yeah. But
well, it wasn't on the agenda, and that's why I brought it up. Right. I'd have brought it up in finance, but I mean, we just finished finance. But
okay. I passed around to you. It's a brochure that OSB publishes regarding competitive bids. I know we talked about this last month. Competitive bidding, the law states building, repair, enlarge, improve, or demolish any school building. So because it was the playground, it wasn't related to a building, so therefore it wasn't necessarily had to be competitive bid, sealed bid. I know the playground equipment, there was 3 quotes that they did receive on it, and obviously we chose the lower of the 3, and that's basically the main reason why it wasn't bid out. It wasn't part of the building, but I know there were additional quotes received.
On the front side of that same pamphlet, it talks about repairs and improvements of school property.
Right.
That needs to be underneath the competitive bidding.
Well, down below where it says exactly what must be bid, that's state law. State law says building.
But on a $42,000 rubber mat, I would have liked to have known about it, because there's other alternatives than rubber mats. I mean, the wood chips we had down there before were donated by our PTA and at no expense to the school and served the purpose. I mean, that's a lot of money to throw at a rubber mat to make it look nice.
And I can tell you, the rubber mat was paid for out of the North Norwood funds, so it wasn't general funds that was used to pay for it. I do realize that.
Yeah, I mean, it's still $42,000.
Right. Sure.
In response to that incident, an across-the-board $15,000 cap on expenditures not requiring school board approval was passed at the September board meeting. We hope to bring you a monthly report on police activity from our crime desk. For the month of August, the Norwood Police Department received a total of 2,853 calls, which consisted of auto accidents, 78, criminal damage, 58, domestic violence, 35, fights, 40, burglary, 34, traffic stops, 298, DUI, 6, assault, 20, noise complaints, 50, theft, 145, theft of motor vehicle, 21, rape, attempted rape, 4. That amounts to 92 calls per day, or 3.8 calls per hour. During the month of August, Norwood Police and the HCPA SWAT team conducted a drug raid at 2424 Kenilworth Avenue. Arrests were made. The Norwood Health Department and Building Department assisted in condemning the residents, and 241 kids removed minors from the premises. Child endangering charges also were filed. U.S. Customs officers assisted with the drug search. School board members discussed the cost of security at sporting events and a possible increase from $30 per hour to $45 per hour.
Recently, we haven't had enough Norwood police sign up to work our details, so they put out to the county officers, sheriff's officers, and so we need to approve them too, so we can hire them. And again, we don't know who they are until they show up on a Friday night, and then we pay them. So if you approve all of them, then we just instead of bringing each week, bring more back to you and say, can you approve this person? So that goes along with number 9. We just weren't getting people signed up for our detail, and I've met with the police department, the Norwood Police Department, and they said that police officers would sign up if we raised it to $45. Came up with an average, they said $45. So that's what we're proposing to attract people to work our football games, because right now it's been a big problem. And if you've been to on the first 2 games, we've had more county people there than Norwood police officers. It's getting expensive. It's really because I was telling Brian that Jason Testman, our athletic director, told me his overhead for the last game was $1,500 that he had to pay for miscellaneous things. $1,200 of that went to security.
Understand their position too, but they've got to understand ours. You know? Right. If they don't want to help their community, because to me, they're volunteering some of their service too. You know, you do it because you want to help your community, you want to help your schools, you know, you want to be involved with the students. I mean, it does nothing but helps them out in the community if they are there spending time with those kids there. I mean, it's going to help them when they have to deal with them in other situations. So I'd be more than happy to tell them that.
The City of Norwood received a $3,500,000 check from the payoff of an 18-year-old economic development loan from the first Rookwood development, Rookwood Pavilion.
Over the past weeks, we've had some discussions with the developers, and basically what they've decided to do is exercise their option to pay it off. So we have received a check for $3,566,000 and some odd cents.
Damage to school buildings from replacement flashing that was improperly installed has prompted the school board to consider hiring new architects.
But right now with Boris Sloan, Welsh and Crosland, been with them probably since maybe 2000.
See, I've got a problem with, and it goes back to what Kenny was saying the last couple months, the flashing. You know, they put down what kind of flashing needs to be used on that roof. Obviously, they didn't do their homework, and it's caused damage inside of our schools. Mm-hmm. I still think we need to go after them for that. I really think we need to go back and get some compensation for that, because the person who put the flashing on followed the architect's blueprint.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And the architect didn't do their homework, and we're being punished for them failing to do their homework. So that's my 2 cents.
And their side of it, they don't take ownership of that. It should have sealed it as faulty
but, you know, and
work.
Being on the chemical side of things in life, I see that 2 chemicals don't always mix. Mm-hmm. And if you do your homework and you find out what chemicals on the roof, and BASF would have happily told them. The rep from BASF told us if they would have contacted us, we would have told them what they needed to put on it, or we'd have come out and done it for them. And then we wouldn't have had the problems on the inside that we have. But since they didn't do their homework, we're being punished. And it's not fair to our taxpayers, it's not fair to our students to have to live in that environment and go to school in that environment. And I don't care if they take ownership of it or not, it's their fault.